All right, we are going to get into our 2021 NBA mock draft. I have Eric here. He's going to have the even picks. I am going to have the odd picks, and we are going to let you know how we think things might shake out. So, number one, least interesting pick of the draft, most interesting player of the draft. Everyone knows who is going to be. It is undeniable. It is going to be Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State University. Look, this dude is undeniably head and shoulders over all of the other players as far as prospects go right now. Do you disagree?
I don't think he's head and shoulders over Mobley from USC. NBA does love bigs that are versatile, that can, space the floor and do a little bit of everything. I think it was, on the Ringer or someplace where they were like, he might come to the NBA and like average a triple double, or have the capacity to average triple double. So I think that there may be some talk, but ultimately, since Cade Cunningham isn't going to fall to the Hawks, I guess we'll let him go to the Pistons.
Yeah, it seems like Cade Cunningham has the ability to be a strong two-way player, a great defender, a great scorer, ability to pass and get all of the other players on the court available. He's going to go to the Pistons, so I don't really know how well that works out. But
look, Jeremy Grant, give him credit. Look, he got Olympian.
Look, that Olympic squad is dealing with a lot of problems right now. Let's move on
to the second pick. That wasn't a great idea, actually.
Yeah. Let's move on to the second pick. You got Houston. Who are you taking?
Look, this is a tough pick. I thought really hard about this. I thought it was going to be Jalen Green by a landslide, and then I started looking at Evan Mobley, and I thought the fit of Mobley next to Christian Woods might be interesting, but I also thought it might be a little bit too much of overlap. I think Green can probably score at an elite level, and he may have more upside than anybody in the draft. I think he has the athleticism, the perimeter shooting. He's got the Zach LaVine hops, which, will make for the nightly highlights. If I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm taking Justin Green.
Jalen Green?
Jalen Green, sorry.
So at the third pick, I feel like the draft is shaking out pretty the way everybody sees it. And I feel like, unfortunately for the Cavs, they need to take Evan Mobley just because he's the best player available on the board at that time. Even though it feels kind of weird seeing as they have Jared Allen and there is going to be a lot of conflict and overlap there. It's just, you are right. He's extremely versatile. He has the ability to score on multiple levels. It is too good to pass up this high in the draft. I think that with all the Colin Sexton rumors, they were hoping that Jalen Green would fall to them and they would be able to take him and maybe move on from Colin Sexton and get something back for their wings. But I think that's where Cleveland ends up being if Jalen goes second.
Yeah, if they can't move Sexton, then Mobley's the pick. It makes too much sense. I think Shaq's going to hate him because he's a big that doesn't play with like post moves. But I think I'm next at number 4. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, this one's easy. You're looking at Kyle Lowry leaving probably in free agency. Toronto Raptors need to restock and add a secondary ball handler and a guy that can create for other guys as well on that team. This is easy. I'll take Jalen Suggs, guard from Gonzaga. Too easy, too talented, too young. Fits real nice with that team. I think that's an excellent pick if they get Suggs at 4.
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like at that point you got Orlando. Orlando's in a pretty good space right now, being at the 5th spot. They take Scotty Barnes, forward from Florida State University. Orlando has, I think that's where it's at. Orlando has a plethora of guards already. They have Cole Anthony. They have Markelle Fultz. They have a center. They got another one from the Bulls in a trade. I think they need to fix or figure out what they have going on the wings. Scotty Barnes can play small forward. Him next to Jonathan Isaacs actually can be a defensive unit for that team. And I think he has the ability to play from playoff screens, set really good ones. He played point guard in college, so he can definitely pass and keep the ball moving around, which is something you want to do with a team as young as Orlando is going to be. I think it's going to be hard to beat the value that they can get from Scotty Barnes at 5.
Oh, I don't really like you right now because I had Scotty going 6.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's what makes it interesting.
It doesn't make it interesting because it makes my life harder because now I need to pick between 2 players. One player I really like, and then there's one player I just think they're going to take because he's young and more talented. I'm going to take Jonathan. I say the name wrong.
Kuminga. Okay.
Kuminga.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going with the athleticism, the sort of ball handling, the sort of scoring threat. I thought really hard. I think you're going to take him next at Golden State at number 7. But there's a guard from Baylor that I also love to death. And I thought about putting him in LKC. It is. I love that guy. But I'm going to take the wing and the guy that can, if he gets a jump shot, may remind some people of Kevin Durant. So, yeah, I'll take Kuminga.
There's nobody in this draft that you should be like, may remind people of Kevin Durant.
I put my hand over my mouth for a reason, man. We're in COVID. I was social distancing that hot take. Come on.
Look, okay, so numbers at 7, Davion Mitchell seems to be a high opportunity pick for the Golden State Warriors. I, however, believe that you might be able to get Davion Mitchell later on in the draft, and Golden State also picks again at 14.
They do?
Yes. They have 2 lottery picks. So my personal opinion with this pick is that Golden State needs to trade this pick. They need to trade this pick and try to build a package for a player that is more.
We're doing trades? I didn't was prepared for the trades.
We are not. Just like personal opinion, they should trade this pick. But if you ask me what I think that they should do, and I think it's going to shock a lot of people, but I think they should actually take Alperen Sengun. And that is the Turkish player in the draft.
Yes, I know who it is.
Yeah, you think that's high, right? And I think that's actually where they should go. I think it bolsters their front court rotation. He's too small to really be a center in the NBA. So he's probably more of a 4 guy. And this is going to be unpopular, but I think he is probably one of the more NBA ready prospects in the league, being a person that played professionally overseas in the 3rd best league in the world and won Turkish MVP at 18. And Golden State is not ready for a project.
I have a question.
Yes.
Klay Thompson is out for the first half of the season. Does that change? And you know that now. Does it change your pick?
If I knew Klay Thompson would be out for the first half of the season, I understand the pressure to then pick Davion Mitchell in that situation because you're like, you need to play somebody next to Steph. But if your idea is we need to win a championship, right? Davion Mitchell is going to be mostly a bench rotation person. And once Klay is back. So I also think that if you can at 14, that's where you would take Davion Mitchell because outside of maybe Indy at 13, the next teams from 8 to 13 need no guards.
No, I think your calculation about Mitchell maybe falling might be correct. If he doesn't go to Golden State, it's a bit of a struggle to think where he goes. So I'm sort of with you there, but I had him going at with San Antonio. So okay, that's fine.
Oh, okay. You would take him at the 12th pick?
I had him at 12 with San Antonio because it feels like a San Antonio pick.
Oh, Alperen Sengun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, look, it is very San Antonio to pick the guy from Europe that's really talented and other people are sleeping on him and then watch him blow up. Hella San Antonio thing to do, right? Yes. I think that people like him are going to start going higher in the draft than they are before. After we start seeing people like Luka, like Jokic, etc., like especially Jokic being like a second round pick. Like these guys that were really, really good in super competitive international leagues are probably going to start inching higher and higher into the draft because people are getting a lot of FOMO from missing out on those type of players.
Hashtag copycat league. All right.
Yes. Hey, that's the facts.
I'm going with a player that reminds me of a guy that's currently playing on the Hawks. Maybe the most consistent offensive player we had next to Trae Young. He reminds me a lot of Danilo Gallinari. I'm going with Franz Wagner. Forward, Orlando Magic. They need shooting. They need shooting in the worst way. And if there's one thing he can do is shoot. Put him out there, let him stretch the floor, spacing. He gives them all that. He may not look like, quote unquote, a lottery pick, but he fits what Orlando needs. If Orlando is bad, and let me say this right now, Orlando, if you are bad, then you probably try to take someone like Keon Johnson, and you're just like, hey, we're not going to have anyone that can shoot, but it would be Orlando, so that makes sense. But I'm running the show, and we're taking Franz Wagner.
That is okay. That kind of puts me in a tough spot because that was who I definitively had Sacramento wanting to take is Franz Wagner because they need to bolster their front court. So at this point, at this point, I'm kind of, at this point, it's a little bit, I want to say difficult for me to decide who should go here. I think you're kind of right about Keon Johnson being the same prototype of a player for this team. So I think that if they get sniped, they go with Keon Johnson. He's 6'5", like 190. He has a great first step. He's really versatile on both ends of the floor, and he allows them to get a guy that at 6'5", maybe a little small to play the three, but that's where they would probably like him to be the most, like somewhere where he could switch off with Harrison Barnes in the 3-4 area. You would really think this team wanted to get big, but at this point,
well, if they trade, what's his name? I can see them maybe, but they're not going to get the big that probably everybody wants because you took them as early as you did. But you know,
and I feel like at that point they end up having to go for a player that they think is going to get them the most value at that spot.
For sure.
Yeah, and there's another guy that I have in mind, but I'm hoping I get the 7 for the 11th pick. So I'll let you go at 10.
All right. So at 10, I'm looking at New Orleans, new coach. They've got Zion. Do they bring back Melo? Me and the young gentleman on the screen have had a very interesting debate about Melo. Lonzo. I said Lonzo. They're all the same. We've had the same debate either way. I have sort of hated on all the Ball brothers since they entered the league collectively. These are facts. But that being said, do they bring back Lonzo is an interesting question. What do they need? They need a guy that can shoot. And this is going to be a running theme. Someone that comes into the league that can play right away at a high level and fit a need. I am going with Corey Kispert from Gonzaga, wing to New Orleans.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that pick. If that's where things kind of end up shaking out, I feel like Charlotte gets here and gets a little bit of a steal at Trey Murphy from Virginia.
Really? Wow. Whoa. Okay.
What's up?
No. This is why this draft is so interesting to me. After like the first 5 picks, a lot of this is real interchangeable. And I think you're going to see players, it's going to be personal preference. So my 19th player might be your 12th player or 10th player. So yeah, no, I'm not knocking it. I'm just, okay. I like that pick. It's interesting.
I like this guy. He's a strong 3-point shooter, which is kind of what you want around. Well, now we're talking Melo, right? Instead of Lonzo, what you kind of want around Melo, you want guys that can play defense. You want guys that can hit spot up threes, and you want guys that can roll to the rim. And Melo's going to set them up, and get everybody kind of where they need to be from there. And I think he fits that mold fantastically. He shot over 40% from three and took a decent amount of threes. He's a fantastic free throw shooter. He can't really create his own shot, but that's not really what you are actively looking for on Charlotte's roster right now. You have guys that can get their own shot. Hayward can get his own shot. Melo can. Rozier can. You need guys that will play defense, roll to the rim, and kind of be glue. And I think Trey Murphy is a great fit for that.
All right. I need to mark down where I had Murphy.
Did you have him all the way down at 19? Because that's the Knicks.
I don't think I had him. Yeah. I don't think I have him in like my mock at all.
Wow. Oh, wow. I have him being like the 14th, 15th best player in the draft is where I had him. So I think it's a little like if we're just ranking all of them on talent.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we're just ranking them all on talent. He might be a little overdrafted. But if we're talking about what a team needs versus potential, I think Trey Murphy at 11 at Charlotte makes a lot of sense.
I thought you were going to go Jalen Johnson from Duke, to be honest.
Okay.
Just because of the Duke connection, or maybe Josh Giddey. Like I was thinking wing, but I can live with that.
I have Jalen Johnson way further down. Like Jalen Johnson's in my like late 20s, 30s.
Oh, so we who we thought was going to go at that pick, we've got like opposite opinions on. That's interesting. Okay.
Yes.
So I had San Antonio willing to take the big, but you decided to snipe him from me because you're rude. Oh man, that hurts because I think San Antonio wants size and they need someone that is talented at the big spot. And there are not a lot of bigs I would take, but I'm going for if this guy gets everything, if he wraps it up and he like shows sort of some flashes that he showed at Texas, that it makes sense. I'm taking Kai Jones, big from Texas.
Okay.
I think he can hit the three. I think he can do a little bit of what you wanted from like a Christian Woods type perspective. Stretch the floor, athleticism. I don't know if he's a Popovich type player, but I think that he may be the biggest upside of at least the next set of players that I see that I would really like.
All right. That makes sense. All right. At 13, Indiana, at this point, I think they want to add another guard to that rotation. They have a very strong front court in Miles Turner and, homeboy, Sabonis. Right? Mm-hmm. So I think they go with James Bouknight. And I think that they want someone that can score in bunches. Like TJ Warren looked great in the bubble, but
sure.
Like we don't really know how that's going to translate going forward, etc. They want a guy who's going to be able to score from all levels, be able to cut, be able to be kind of just an effective guy to garner points from get, especially because they're not trying to repeat last season. And I feel like this dude is definitely a person that can shoot the three, kind of. I have some concerns about him just holding the ball too long and trying to do too much with the handles, but I don't think he will have a prominent enough role in the offense early to kind of make that an issue. So I think that they would grab James Bouknight at 13.
All right. It has to happen. He's too good of a player to be this far. Devon Mitchell is going to the Pacers. I understand that there may be better fits. I'm sorry. No, where am I at? 13?
14.
Oh, 14. My apologies. Yeah, sorry. I misspoke. The Golden State, they get the player you said would fall to them at 14. It works out well for them. I don't think this will happen in a real world draft. I think he's too talented, but it gives them instant offense off the bench that can, spell Curry and Clay, especially as Clay works his way back from those injuries. So, Devon Mitchell, without question.
Okay. So, when we get to 15 in Washington, this also might be unpopular, but I think they go with Usman Garuba, and he's a, what? Did I snipe you again?
No. You just sniped me. I was thinking about him if Devon Mitchell wasn't on the board for Golden State at that spot. Because I thought he was a Draymond clone, but I like that pick. Go ahead.
Yeah, it varies. Yes, same concept. He's a little Draymond-ish in the fact that like he is almost consensus the best defender, pure defender in the draft. And that defensive intensity is something Washington needs in spades. Right, they got all the scoring in the world. Russ can score, Bradley Beal can score, but they cannot get stops currently. And I think Usman comes in, becomes a big defensive anchor for them, and someone that they can rely upon with the experience that he already has. He's not much of a scorer. He's kind of actually anemic as a scorer, but that is standing next to Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook should not be as much of a problem.
Yes. We're at 16 Oklahoma City.
Yes, indeed.
In my best Skip Bayless voice, the travesty ends now. Jalen Johnson, Oklahoma City.
Okay.
This is top 10 talent. Don't believe anything you heard the Fly Route said. Believe in greatness. We're taking Jalen Johnson. This is absurd. Athleticism oozing out the wazoo. Can be a playmaker. Next to a very, very standout guard that they have in OKC. They need talent. At some point, they've got to use these picks to get talent. And if a top 10-ish prospect falls to them, they must pounce on it and not trade him. Hopefully they
don't. Okay, that makes sense. At then 17, if I'm Memphis, I go with Keon Johnson. Round out your wing rotation. I think they feel really good about their backcourt with Brooks and Ja going forward. So you rounded out with Keon Johnson. Speaking of athleticism, this guy has it. He can move. He's a 4 straight barreling towards the rim. He can be a good defender, but that's going to take some time to come together. But what's the word I want to use? The tangibles are all there. Right, he's about like 6'4", 6'5". He has a long frame. He's not going to be a fantastic shooter, which is going to be a little bit difficult for that team. But I think he gives them a great scorer and a great defender that they will benefit from a lot.
All right. So when I thought about Oklahoma City, because I think I had all 3 picks, but essentially they need a big. The best available big I see on the board is Isaiah Jackson from Kentucky. Can be a Nerlens Noel defensive presence for them in the middle. They need that kind of big right now. So I'll take the big from Kentucky to be that rim protector that they sort of have been missing in the last few years.
Okay, that puts me at the first New York pick.
How y'all feeling, New York?
Man,
how y'all feeling, New York?
Look, the first New York pick is interesting because I feel like, they're going to take a guard. They need a guard bad, right? And I'm sitting between Josh Giddey and Sharife Cooper. And I feel like they come down in the end to Sharife Cooper because he's going to be a better playmaker and can get them into their sets. I think his feel for the game is just literally fantastic. He's a great ball handler. He's a great passer. He gets people like in their pockets to shoot. And I think that they really, really need somebody that can grow in New York. That job is going to be to get other people to eat, because right now Derrick Rose is all they got, and Derrick Rose is not even under contract anymore for the Knicks. Right. So the Knicks really have no real point guard talent available to them that will actually be able to be the pass first guy and get things going. We saw how Julius Randle had a lot of trouble because no one could set him up closer to the basket, and instead he had to break people down on his own. And that gave them a lot of trouble against the Hawks.
Say it one more time.
I hate you. Okay, that gave them a lot of trouble against the Hawks. Are you look? Yeah, be happy. Look, y'all should be happy with yourselves after this season.
We are.
I ain't got
You can't say nothing.
Yeah, honestly,
Nothing.
I'm gonna let you have it. So I think they go Sharif Cooper. I think he's gonna be a fantastic addition to this New York Knicks team. And speaking of Atlanta, that puts us at Atlanta at 20.
My player wasn't sniped. This is beautiful. If you're Atlanta, you're in win now mode. You've made some moves. You've made the Eastern Conference Finals. In my opinion, you've got a loaded roster. And when I mean loaded, there are no real holes in terms of talent 1 through 10, if you think about it. Lou Williams coming back, being that secondary ball handler, second unit point guard. He may come back, but I can see Lou wanting to cash out and get his last big check. So I'm going to take the guy that was all Big Ten. I'm going to throw some stats at you because I think this is important. I believe he was 70 and 20, including 50 and maybe 8, was the most outstanding player in the Final Four, is a great on-ball defender, perimeter shooting is outstanding, and he can handle the ball. Give me Jared Butler, guard from Baylor. That's who I want. That's who we want.
Okay, that actively sniped my 21st pick.
Really? Oh, we're so sorry, New York. Did we bow on you again? Oh, we're so sorry.
Look, but I think that's okay because I think New York doubles down on guard play, which is why I thought Jared Butler would be the guy for them. I think they will actually pass on Josh Giddey a second time, particularly because of questions about his defensive ability. And we know that's not how Tibbs wants to play basketball.
No,
he wants high motor players who are very great on defense, hustle players, which I think means that they take Jaden Springer from Tennessee with the 21st pick and kind of build a new backcourt for them.
I like that pick. I thought about him with the Hawks, but I took the player that I just honestly love in this draft. I think when you get a winner, you get a winner. But I see some Kyle Lowry in the guy you just picked. I said it. I gave a compliment to you, Jaden Springer.
Yeah.
I see it. All right. So who do we got next up? Oh, we got them Lakers.
22.
We got the Lakers, and we got 2 players that I think fit well with the Lakers, assuming they keep this pick. What's the one thing the Lakers need?
A point guard or a shooting? Because they need both.
Both. They need both.
Yes.
And I think there is a player that fits the bill, and it gives them someone that can also defend a little bit. I'm going. I guess he's old. He's old by NBA rookie standards. He's also a dad. I'll give you those 2.
Ooh, old by NBA rookie standards.
I believe he will be 24.
Like 24? Yes.
Or he will be 24. I'm not sure when his birthday is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I knew that he was about to be 24. Oh man, his name is escaping me so bad right now. But
Chris.
Oh man,
Chris. First name's Chris.
Is it Duarte?
You got it, from Oregon. You're sensing a theme here. I love the Oregon players. Let me just say that right now. So the reason why I like him with the Lakers, he sort of reminds me of that guy that can play point guard, but he shoots the 3 and he can defend like the other team's best guard or 2 guard. And he also gives them some length. He does all the things the Lakers need, and he's ready to play right now. You don't need him to develop. I was torn between him and Cameron Thomas from LSU.
Ooh, okay.
But I took the guy who's a little bit older, a little bit more mature.
Okay, that kind of fits the bill for what you want to understand the kind of motto for what the Lakers want. They probably would like a guy that's a little bit more mature, but man, Houston at 23 is kind of an odd pick for me because I don't really know what direction Houston is going to go. It's clear like they are stuck with John Wall for quite some time. I don't even know if stuck is the right word, but like they got Kevin Porter Jr. They Christian Wood.
Yep.
So I think that they go for somebody that can play on the wing, but be a spot up shooter and is going to be kind of seamless fit. Doesn't need a lot of the ball in his hand a bunch. And I think they go with Joshua Primo from Alabama.
Oh, so you're going to make the Bama fans happen.
Yeah, okay. Really young guy. He shoots amazing from three and doesn't need the ball in his hands at all. So he's going to be really good playing off the other core players that they have around there, giving them some spacing that they could use a lot. And I think that helps them get back to what we understood Houston basketball to be. We shoot a lot of threes.
I don't love this fit, but I think the talent is too good to pass up. I'm going to put Josh Giddey at Houston. Okay. And I just think that I could see him going in the late lottery. So for him to be available in the mid-20s is a coup for Houston. And look here, Houston, you don't have a lot of talent, so you should take talent when it falls to you. Give me Josh Giddey.
Okay. I think that looks like a heavy steal for them, and I think the Clippers are kind of pissed that happened because if there's one thing that they needed, it was some guy that can do what they expected Rondo to do when Rondo showed up. So at that point, it's interesting. I don't really know. I think the Clippers still probably want to go guard. I think that if this low in the draft, they're kind of they're kind of just in a difficult spot. I think that they probably end up saying we'll take Trey Mann from Florida.
Yeah, I saw it coming. I feel bad about it, but I saw it coming.
I don't like it really, but I feel like all of the really good playmakers in the draft are kind of gone. Unless you want to take like a Brandon Boston from Kentucky, but I don't like that.
Ooh, this is tough. I think Denver needs backcourt help, but I don't know if there's a backcourt player. Oh, wait, yes, there is. Cameron Thomas, absolutely.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Can come on the court, maybe spell 15 minutes, get him a nice 10-piece, extra crispy with the jump shot. One of the best players in the SEC last year. I think that's a solid place for him to go. And Denver normally develops guys that they pick late in the draft to become pretty good. So I like him.
Okay, I think at that point I'm Brooklyn, and I think Brooklyn at this point needs size. We know they need size. I think that need is actually going to cause them to probably overdraft somebody here. And I think that guy is actually going to be I'm going to say this. I don't like this because I feel like the better pick in this situation would be Charles Bassey, but he's only 6'9", and that doesn't solve really what they need. So they go with Day'Ron Sharpe from North Carolina, 6'11", almost 270, big frame, is a great rebounder, has a lot of defensive presence, and is going to work his ass off on the defensive end. So I think that gives them kind of what they need the most, and they probably drafted him higher than most people expected him to be. But people are giving him comparisons to a Kendrick Perkins type. And I think that is essentially the biggest hole in the Brooklyn Nets offense.
We got Philly. Philly, we need to talk to you. We're going to talk about you in a minute, too, by the way. Philly. But I'm going to try to help you out. I'm going to try to, get you in the right direction. You need a point guard, Philly, because you might not have a point guard anymore. But I don't see a great fit for a point guard. So I'm going to take a swing on a guy that I think can score and handle the ball pretty well. Josh Christopher from Arizona State, I think might be the guy. I think might give them the ability to handle, the ability to play a little defense. He's 6'5". I really love those sort of guards that are a little bit longer than what their position requires them to be. But I'll take the swing on Josh Christopher. That's what I'm gonna do. I didn't like the other option too much.
Interesting. So at this point, I feel like we are relatively low in the draft, and you kind of thinking who should be the guy. And I feel like it makes sense for Phoenix to get someone that's relatively big, but I think at this point, drafting another like actual real center is probably low value. So they go with Zaire Williams from Stanford.
Sure.
He's 6'8", has almost a 7-foot wingspan. He can finish above the rim. He's a little small at this point in time to play the 4, but hopefully they can build out his frame. Is going to be more of a project. And I think that he fits maybe not their immediate needs, but he's probably a better long-term project for this team.
We're going to end the first round here. I think the player that I think that they should take, okay, is maybe a Mike Conley clone. And I'm going to say his name wrong, and I apologize. Ayo Dosunmu, AYODOSUNMU, point guard from Illinois. I thought this kid was great for Illinois last year. It gives them a sort of someone they can pass the baton to once Conley is gone, because Conley's like 34, 35. And I think he gets to learn on the fly and play for a team that's sort of ready to compete. And I really like that kid. I had to find a way to get him in the first round. I thought this was a great place.
Okay. I like that. I like that kid. He's from Chicago, actually. He went to Morgan Park High School. Like, I had debate tournaments over there. Like, yeah.
I didn't mean to make you feel good. I apologize.
Well, I'm a fan. All right. That is our mock draft for the first round of the NBA draft. Let us know what you think. Are we sleeping on anybody? Did someone get greatly overdrafted? Hit us up, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Fly Route Pod.